Yo, yo.
Yo,
Yeah, that shit a little bit better now.
synced up now?
Yeah, it's synced up now. Good.
All right, straight.
All right, straight, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably give it another shot.
Yeah. But shit, man. Pretty much, just for, you know what I'm saying, the sake of the people that's viewing this joint, like, you can pretty much introduce yourself and, explain what you do and, you know what I'm saying, your passion and just your life story or whatever you want to share with people, you know what I'm saying? Just, get people acclimated to you and your character, your personality.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, for everybody watching, man, I'm Xaivion. I'm actually born and raised here in Richmond. Um, I linked up with my boy Raheem. Uh, not really certain. I'm not really certain how long ago. Probably a couple years now, off and on. As far as like linking up and doing certain projects and shit like that. Following him as he progresses on his own. And
Definitely.
it's always interesting. I feel like when you meet other people who are spiritually, metaphysically inclined, I would just say open-minded.
Mm,
I feel like all people who are here in the School of Insight, they kind of are on similar pages. So
yeah.
um, there's a lot of things. I'm probably just going to simplify because I feel like everybody would know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, again, I'm born here, raised in Richmond. I would say that I realized there was something uh, that was different. I wouldn't say different about me, but just I was I was realizing I was living a different type of lifestyle than those
Yeah.
around me. Like even when I was a young child, like it was just something that was off to me. I couldn't really figure it out, put my finger on it then.
Mm-hmm.
But like very similar to a lot of you who have kind of started on this path. But I really didn't, I didn't know exactly what it was back then, but I knew it was something that was kind of off or, different or special in a way, I guess you could say, about the journey that I was going on. So I didn't know at the time. But as I was going on in life and had several experiences, the most notable one I would say when I had my awakening, I guess you could say, or just a moment of me, just my moment of truth, knowing that there was something more or like something that I had to find for myself of truth.
Mm-hmm.
It was right after I graduated high school, um, and I really didn't have a direction for myself. I didn't have like I come from kind of a troubled background in a way, so like I didn't really have like a lot of guidance or answers to what my next step was. So
Yeah.
it was my turning point of like, damn, what the hell am I gonna do now? Like literally the moment that or like I guess the week or so after I graduated, I'm just sitting there wondering, what it is that I have to do, and like just taking the entire world into account, just like what is my place in the world, and it felt like
Mm-hmm.
the entire world had just dropped on me, like it was on my spirit. Like I sat there, I just cried, and
Mm.
I had just an internal transformation, I guess you could say. And I lost all sense of ego, and I guess you could say like any resistance that I had at that point to whatever was next was gone.
Oh,
So
damn.
I wouldn't necessarily use the word ego because that is like a controversial
Yeah,
term.
sure is.
But I would say like I would just say that my resistance at that point was gone for anything that I had thought. At that point, I was just like, whatever happens next, I was prepared. So
Mm-hmm.
not exactly sure how to explain that feeling, but at that point, I felt weightless.
Mm-hmm.
Like I walked after that moment, and I feel like I didn't really explain it well because it was like this thing that took over my whole body, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just and I stepped outside, and it was basically silence, and I heard every single
Like everything.
sound,
Damn.
and the light and I'm completely sober, mind you. Like this is
Damn.
before. It's like I'm having this
Mm-hmm.
transcendental. I don't even know what to call
Yeah.
it, like this out of body experience in a sense, but it was a continuous thing. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
that was the high point of it, And I
Yeah.
feel like it kind of evened out as, you know, I went along. I say like it lasted for at least 3 months, I would say, as far as how that feeling that I had, but it wasn't as high as that first day. It was like
Yeah.
like, damn, what am I experiencing right now? Like, I feel
Hmm.
like I understand. I'm kind of in tune with the world, but at the same time, I feel like it was expected. Like, I knew this was coming. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like a accumulation of all of my thoughts and what I thought I knew. And
Hmm.
this was true. In fact, around that time that I was leaving high school, I was reading a lot about this because, I mean, that was I didn't really have a direction of what I wanted to do, but I had an idea of I wanted to figure out what exactly this was, like what this spiritual path was. It was just a lot of research and whatnot, which led to me having that moment, like, damn, what exactly is my purpose? And maybe this isn't even it, you know. So I just gave up everything, and I think that's another thing that
Hmm.
I probably touch on at some point. But like, you really like even outside of the spiritual experience, you have to just you have to learn yourself. You have to be
Yeah.
comfortable with yourself. You have to
Definitely.
feel what love is on your own.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's what it was. It was me realizing what exactly love was, what unconditional love really is, what it feels like, and what it means to have that for the world. So I feel like in that moment that I'm saying that I felt that um, just that experience, it opened my eyes. So that experience was my first thing, like, oh shit, this spiritual shit or like this metaphysical realm and world and these things are like this shit is real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not real in like a fake news type way. Just like this shit was like really, you know, so I could feel it. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't explain. Like nobody else would believe this shit. This is some shit you have to experience on your own. So it kind of went from there with me. And I was like, yeah, I'm. This is forever going to be a part of my life.
Hmm.
Uh, I want to know more about this. I want to see, you know, meet other people who may have even had this experience or even something near it. So
Hmm.
I continued to search and do my own searching, and from that point, I had actually I started my first job, and I'll just stay on this for a second, just because it just became like I was living life differently. I didn't see things the same way as far as experiences, the people that you talk to, like it wasn't about like where I was going. It was more so like, damn, every single thing that I can do and everything that I can affect, like all of this shit is connected in some way. It's nothing that I can't learn from. Every single thing,
Yeah.
every moment has some sort of gift that you can see if you're aware. And
Yeah.
you know you really, I wouldn't say that most people are missing out on life. It's just that
They're not.
everything is here already. Everything that you can see is already here. It's just
Precisely. Yeah.
yeah, you're not even, you know, you're just moving. You're just going here to there, and you know you're not even paying attention that, you know, the life you're living has so much. It's full of so much, so many answers that you're looking for. So many.
Mhm.
It's just so much truth, man. So
Yeah.
much.
All the wonders out there.
So I mean that just brought me, you know, centerfold once
Hmm.
I was just I was from that point. So like I said, that was really my first experience as I went along. But from there, man, it's been a wild journey.
Word. Word. Yeah, man. Shit. Have you had any experiences with like astral projection or lucid dreaming? I know some people might want to be you know what I'm saying, get some insight on that as well. If you had those experiences.
Right. Well, to me, as far as lucid dreaming, absolutely, I've definitely experienced it. I feel like mine is probably different from most people's. And astral projection, I don't think I've ever experienced the way that it's explained or I've seen it described. I don't think I've experienced that.
Hmm.
To any point, I would say that like when I have certain dreams, like I have I have more so like reoccurring dreams where I go back to the same place. So
Hmm.
maybe that is my version of it. I'm not really sure, or if I feel like I'm going to a different dimension. I feel like more so
Yeah, definitely.
it's a
Definitely.
different time I'm existing on. Like I exist here, but I also like somewhere else. I
Hmm.
don't even know if I'm the same, but I when I go there, I know that I'm there, and like I have the feeling that I've been here before. Like, and when I
Yeah.
wake up, I'm like, damn, I've I've been in that place. Like, it's this place that it's like it's literally like a school. When I go there,
Hmm.
it's like some type of university. It's this giant university campus. You know,
Oh
like
shit.
And I always have dreams of going back there. Like I don't know, it's just like regular school living. I feel like I know these people already. So I mean, I'm not exactly how to describe it. I guess that I would describe it as astral projection or some type of different state or dream state, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a different reality other than this one that I experienced. So I'm not sure if that is that or not, but that's the closest thing I can say that I've had to that.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like that just may be there because like with astral projection, you know what I'm saying, you're pretty much just going into the astral realm, but consciously. But we do that shit subconsciously every night via dream
Right, right,
and all that shit.
exactly.
So yeah, so definitely like you definitely are, you know what I'm saying, this other place and shit. Even now, you know what I'm saying, because it's multi-dimensional, everything multi-dimensional.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Shit
it's been
crazy.
steadily expanding, and I feel like the lines are fucking getting thinner. You know,
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like that too, bro. I really do. Like I see a lot
the
more
divide,
people getting.
certain things, the world is being affected by. I mean, I would hope that it's a good thing. I don't think anything is out of order,
Yeah,
but
yeah, everything happens for
many,
a reason. Definitely.
yeah, it's a lot of things that are becoming more apparent.
Mhm.
People are becoming more aware.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Like people just becoming more aware of certain things that they weren't aware of before. You know what I'm saying? Coming into a certain level of consciousness.
Right, right. They paying attention. A lot of people paying attention more. I mean, even if it's on a pseudo
Yeah, yeah.
spiritual,
The very like
I,
basic
yeah, that's
level
still
shit.
right. I feel like that still helps in a way. At least
Yeah,
people taking interest. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah, definitely. Shit,
I
man.
mean, I feel like it's going to be harmful for them if they're faking it because I mean, you're not really going to be experiencing the true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got to be experiencing your own path. You have to. I feel like everything that
Mm-hmm.
you do learn from this, you have to experience it on yourself on some level.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But
I feel the same way, man. So like would you feel like with technology, do you feel like technology may interfere with certain people's spiritual awakening or do you feel it may assist or is it doing both basically? I feel like it's doing both.
yeah, I think a lot of people are. I think humans in general,
Mhm.
we don't appreciate the technology that we have. Like technology is moving much faster than the average human's process, and like it allows them to cause they otherwise wouldn't be ready for. So to
Mhm.
that extent, I feel like there's who take advantage of it, and there's people who are absolutely wasting the technology that we have in front of us in order to greater expand our consciousness. So
Mhm.
as I would say, the consciousness, I feel like technology it definitely helps because it allows anyone to have access to just whatever knowledge that you're looking for. You can get it in an instant. So I mean, to that extent, I mean, it's so many people that wake up. They don't give a shit about finding, the next step. They don't care about fucking Kundalini rising and shit. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. But that's the information is there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always there. Truth, basically, truth is always there. Is that
Mhm. Yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Wait,
People can look for it, but and technology makes it easier, for people to be able to find it. So yeah, it goes both ways in my opinion as well. Like
yeah.
it's the right person to tap into this technology network and make something of it. But I mean, that's going without mentioning the Akashic records or anything like that. So
Oh yeah.
I would just say that technology right now is a physical version of the Akashic records. And when I say technology, I'm talking about the
Mhm.
advancement, everything that makes our life here. We're intertwining with the technology we have here to live on Earth. So I mean, in a way, it's hindering it. I feel like humans are slowly learning. I don't know if we're gonna live long enough to see if we start using this shit correctly, but hey,
Yeah, yeah.
everything is everything. So
Yeah.
we'll see when that comes.
Definitely, definitely, man. Shit, that's good talk right there. So like, have you ever like seen like spirits, ghosts, shadow figures? Like, have you ever experienced that as in childhood or in adulthood? Like, what
Oh,
you think about
matter of fact, I think that's something that's constant in my life.
that?
Um, I will almost go as far as to say that I can sense
Presences and shit.
otherworldly beings in my
Oh.
presence, um, and I've always been able on some level to do that. I feel like even more so as a child. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like as a child you're even more in tune with this naturally than as
Precise.
we get desensitized as we go along in adulthood, because
Mm-hmm.
it's we're so tied to these ideologies automatically. I guess as we grow up, we're getting just desensitized. I mean, and just
Yeah, just
our natural thoughts just are
more pure.
just not saying our natural feelings are kind of just, I don't know, I would say delayed, or just kind of,
It's like
we
more
don't experience
stinged.
as hard as simple as that. But
Yeah.
as a child, I definitely experienced what people would call, some people call like the witch's broom or things like that, and just
The witch's broom.
seeing the witch's broom. Well, it's also called sleep paralysis. I
Oh
guess
yeah,
that's what they
yeah.
have classified it as, but I still
I never
believe
heard that other
it's
term.
yeah. I feel like it's still tied to
Mm.
spirituality,
Oh yeah, definitely.
absolutely, because your body, you just wake up, in the middle of the night, you can't move. You can't move any of your body parts.
Mm.
All you can do is basically breathe, if that.
Mm.
And you're just stuck. You don't know why. You're held down. But like I said, I used to experience that as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, on some level, like I said, I believe that it's spiritual. Like I haven't experienced it since then. I used to experience it. I feel like up until my early teens,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't experienced it since. But I definitely feel like I said, it's something that is spiritually tied. Other than that, I've definitely seen entities. Some people say they see them out the corner of their eye and shit like that, but like I've seen them head on. But they are formless beings.
Yeah.
What I see are. So I wouldn't say that I've never interacted with these beings before, but I've definitely been able to see them energetically on this plane.
Damn.
I mean, that's as far as I will say with that. But I haven't really explored more on my own into what that means for me, or what that means for my abilities. So,
Mm-hmm. Word, word. Yeah, man, that's pretty dope, bro. Tell you, it's like it's so much wonders to life, dog. It's like it's no end because it's
absolutely, and I feel like that should be the natural inclination to continue in this world, is to figure out like things like that. I feel like we're limiting ourselves with simple science and simple answers. I mean, even science is limited,
oh very
because I mean it's only an observation of what is, and it can always be disproven. Nothing is solid. That's why I understand about like the average person. It's like you can only go on living just seeing just the square in front of you, and when this shit is just so expanded, so expansive,
mm-hmm.
we don't even know the true limits of human ability, or if we're
Like,
still evolving. Like we obviously have some type of I don't even, if you want to classify it as like psychic ability
oh yeah.
naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So just on the basis, like I would even say simple things like I have, when I open up to people or just ask them, start to ask them questions, just gauging them on this type of looking into. I say, what do you think when, like, what do you think it is when you feel somebody looking at you? Like, what exactly do you think that is? Like, do
Perfect
you
example.
wonder about things like that? Like when you're thinking about somebody at the same time, like you don't think
Yeah.
about shit like that. It just happens. You think it's always a coincidence, like you think it's just shit that
By
happens
chance.
sometimes, like I just feel like people into the simple shit, like simple things like that. You can
mm-hmm.
kind of gauge that there has to be another level to this shit somewhere. Like
Yeah.
there's that can't be just the limit. That like wow, somebody I can feel somebody looking. I can almost feel like no, you are feeling somebody looking at you.
Yeah.
Like me, no. Like when I look at somebody, like
Mm-hmm.
they feel that shit like it's a fucking laser beam on them. Like when I look, and I really like, and I have an intent
mm-hmm.
when I'm looking. Like I'm talking about people could be walking across the street, like, and they
Yeah.
look like they look fucking back. Like I'm like, yeah, obviously, man, it has to be some more shit to this. So to me, like I said, I just don't ever stop at that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
That shit can
and
be
then
kind
I've
of fun too.
it's
Like you just look at somebody on purpose, just so because you know they're gonna feel that shit, and they
right,
turn around.
like yeah, it's truth in that. Just the simple things,
mm-hmm.
and you know. I just feel like they're looking into a lot of things, but on the base level, man, it's still very simple as
Mm-hmm.
far as science and the human, just exploring the human mind and shit. I feel like there hasn't been major advancements in a long, long time as far as human, the human psyche.
Yeah, definitely.
So and I feel like they're still counting out the metaphysical aspect as well, of course.
Hmm.
But that is more awareness is being brought to that as we go on, as we can see.
Yeah, that's what's.
But
Do you feel that ancient man in antiquity had all these abilities that we're speaking of, such as the awareness of the fact that when you look at somebody, they can feel you, but yet they're more tapped into, you know what I'm saying, their natural latent abilities, such as, just all these things that we see in the movies, like with superheroes and stuff. Like you feel like ancient man had that knowledge and capabilities.
in ancient times, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like not only was that prevalent back then, as an art form and as something that is natural. I wouldn't say it was at all widespread, but
Hmm.
it definitely the abilities were definitely tapped into and were being used to the fullest extent. I mean, when you even look back on history, there's many things that don't add up on a physical level
Hmm.
that are still unexplained. Um, some people say magic, but I truly feel that it's some part of us that have been blocked off from then to now. Up until now, we've lost touch with our true selves. Um,
Hmm.
just humans in general have been lacking for probably over a century now, if not, well, I'm sure even longer than that.
Oh yeah.
Just yeah, centuries now. We've just been lacking on anything. Like I mean, when you take into account like Egypt and things like that, like Egypt, there were no thousands and thousands of slaves pulling these blocks
Yeah.
and backing them up and shit. Like
Yes.
bro, shit like that that's unexplained. Like no, like there's no way it was physically possible that these blocks were being lifted
Mhm.
in these type of like the way they explain these history books makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And
Asinine.
it's been debunked. Like it's there's no way, man. Like I feel like these people had access to like they know how sound works.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell him.
Sound, like audio to moving things with pure like waves and
Vibrations.
just
Hmm.
yeah, they were very vibrations were the a tool, like
Hmm.
it was and I feel like it was probably commonplace amongst these certain people. I don't feel
Hmm.
like I said, I don't feel like it was a widespread ability,
Yeah.
but among groups of people,
Dropped the
these
ball.
powers were harnessed. And in Egypt is just one example of
Hmm.
something that obviously was not the norm, but it was known about. And I feel like that piece of history was definitely I wouldn't say whitewash per se. Well, I would say whitewash, but
Yeah.
it was definitely not. It was blocked off from most of humanity for reasons. I
Hmm.
believe I'd agree, perhaps.
Oh, most definitely.
Just power and and everybody has access to it. The intent is what's going to make the person different. So I feel like
Hmm.
at some point, yeah, the power was definitely cut off. This information was either that or just the people that had the power. They felt like whoever they wanted to stop this shit from getting into the wrong hands, per se. So
Yeah.
however it went, I mean, I'm sure they knew the best of what it would be now. So I feel like I don't know if it's our purpose to really tap into that or to derive that forward, that idea, and go back into that way of thinking and trying to do that. But
Hmm.
shit, I would love to find out. If nothing more,
Yeah.
we can say that well, maybe we can't do it, maybe we can. But I definitely believe that ancients had definitely had a greater idea and sense of self um, growth, and those type of abilities and ways of thinking were more valued than they ever were or ever are today.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not sure how long it's gonna take because we're so deep in technology and
Mm.
just mundane, the monotony of each day,
Yeah.
trying to survive that. You don't even get enough time to even have time and energy to think and put shit into
Yeah,
trying to,
perspective.
be,
Yeah.
like we're just so far removed from that type of life.
Facts,
That's
man.
that's what I think about that.
Yeah. Peace and guidance to all our viewers. We got just three individuals that's watching right now. Just want to shout y'all out with
Oh, peace.
attending. Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, man. It's crazy though, dog. Like, have you ever heard of this guy named Edward Lee Stalin?
The name actually does sound familiar, but no, go on.
Yeah, this dude, like definitely everybody look this dude up. Edward Lee Stalin. I might be mispronouncing his last name. I might have to check it again. I posted after this interview, but definitely look into him because he was a tiny old man who pretty much built this thing called Coral Castle in Florida back in like the 1900s, I think. And he pretty much built it by himself. And he said he had the knowledge of how they built the pyramids, and it was just him by himself that built it in a very
Interesting.
short span of time too. Like large, huge megaliths I'm talking about that this man pretty much transported by himself and built this thing called a coral castle. Yeah, definitely look into that.
Hmm.
So like,
Oh, I will. Definitely will. That's the type of thing like he needs to be interviewed.
yeah,
Like tap into
he
the
dead
gentleman.
now, but
Oh, hey.
hell yeah, but yeah, he pretty much knew that. Him, Nikola Tesla, like these guys, they studied the
Yeah.
ancient.
Well, history have definitely tapped into it.
Mhm.
Nikola Tesla, notably, is one of the very notable person that was probably in contact with. I wouldn't even. I mean, I guess it depends on what do you believe, and what do you think of these things. If you want to say it's aliens or like he somehow was able to tap into the Akashic records, as you would say, like in history is known that many people, were able to access the same type of ideas,
Mhm.
without even knowing each other, having the same thoughts. So I mean, I feel like something like that is connected. I don't know where he was exactly getting these ideas from, but if you can see that, all of them were very advanced ideas for the time.
Yeah, he
Um,
studied under Vivekananda, one of the yogis out of India. Like he used to
oh,
meditate and shit. Yeah,
wow.
it's shit that
I didn't
people
even
don't
know that.
know.
It's a lot I still haven't explored about him, but that opened up doors to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
He obviously knew what he was talking about and what he was doing, but we see how that ended up as far as the culture as it stands, as far as greed versus the advancement of humanity.
Yeah,
So
man.
that's ultimately what has us stagnant in this period of time is that greed and power kind of rules um, the average day,
Yes.
unfortunately. But I mean, no one can take your power away. No one can take your will to your search for.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree, man. Definitely. What would you say to, people that are just now coming into this sort of consciousness, this sort of spiritual path? Like, what advice would you give them on starting out on this journey via, like, as in, like, searching for certain answers on their own? Like, what
That's
advice would you
actually
give them?
I actually wanted to bring that I'm not like some. I don't tend to be like some type of spiritual person. Like I don't identify as like a per se, if you want to say that.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I've had several periods where like, I was heavily into trying to find answers, and then I would be like, damn, I don't give a fuck about anything. So like me coming to this shit, I wish I had somebody to tell me that like there's no picture that to how this shit looks.
Mhm.
Like I'm on Twitter a lot and shit like that. I see people that they kind of portray this image that that's their whole life and that everything is fucking crystals and doing the right thing and shit like that. But
Yeah, the
the
facade.
reality of it is, you're still living a human experience, and
Mm.
humans, as you know, are very fucking tribalistic and instinctual, and
Yes.
we still want to experience all things of life, whether you identify good or bad, whatever duality you're using.
Mm.
Uh, there's no way to how this look. That's really the simplest advice I can give. Also, always look for other sources of information. There's no one source. There's no one book, one magic book that's going to give you all the answers.
Precisely.
Although I can recommend you a few, but there's no one book that's going to give you everything. I recommend looking into all aspects of how everyone looks at it. Carl Jung, um,
Hmm.
like just to explore every single thing from the physical aspect of the mind to the spiritual aspects there are. I mean, you're not going to find any solid info on the spiritual aspect. There's nothing official,
Hmm.
which is why I say again, another thing is that you are going to know more than anything. I mean, you're going to feel what's right to you, I would say. I mean, it's hard to draw that line because you can go from being delusional and thinking that your way is right to goddamn being a most open person and believe in anything, and like always change your opinions. I mean, it's always going to be a fight with that. You don't want to fall into cognitive dissonance at all. That's going to be a hard thing because I feel like I kind of got stagnant with that myself in a point. But it's all a learning journey, man. Like I said, that's the most basic thing I can say is it's no picture to how this shit look like. I'm still like I can still be wild and shit. I'm only 24, man. I be doing wild shit. I can still doing hot shit, Like I'm also living a spiritual life, and I take that into every experience that I have. Like everything I learn from, everything is an experience. I feel like without going through and having that spiritual experience and knowing that this is a part of me, my life would be a lot different. I would make very different decisions and I would have very different conversations with people. Like I understand people on a different. I just feel like I live a way different now. I mean, I'm glad that I went through this very young, and I could take this knowledge with me, however far I live in this human plane. It's always you're always learning, man. It never stops. You're never gonna get to a peak where you be like, I know enough. It's always gonna be continuing. So yeah, anybody that's new and watching this, man, yeah, it's no picture with how this shit looks, man. I mean, definitely get you some crystals, carry them shits around.
Yeah.
But like, hey, make sure that you believe. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that whatever it is you're on right now, like that's you, and be the shit, man. No, and confidence is like everything. I feel like all this shit, everything that comes with this shit is confidence. It just brings you to be like the best version of yourself. Once you're looking for help, you're trying to look for your health. What's best for your health, what's best for your mind. I don't know. I don't see a downside to this shit. But like I said, it's no picture. It's no vivid picture for being the perfect spiritual person. Like you're not gonna be a guru. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we got too many of those online, bro.
Yeah. Thank. Yeah, if y'all ever heard of 13 Son, that's the person I was really. I was heavy on 13 Son. I thought that man was really about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
He used to follow me on Twitter too, bro. You knew that shit. Yeah, bro.
You, bro. You don't want to fall into them type of traps, man. Like, you definitely get some experience from it, and you will learn a lot. But it's like you don't want to ever get into some shit where like I'm the motherfucker, like my shit is true, like fuck it with all the non-believers type shit. Like you don't ever want to get to those type of boats where you like defending motherfucker. That shit, that's some clown shit. Man.
Yeah, that shit is nothing but fool.
It's real.
That's what I say. Like in school insight, man, we definitely ain't tolerating none of that bullshit. It's like fuck out of here with that shit. That shit.
We ain't doing that shit, man. Yeah. None of that cult shit. For real. All that shit is. It's like a small cult. I mean, it's still going on Twitter. It's a lot of shit. You gotta stay open minded because you don't even know, man. Some of these motherfuckers they narcissistic as a motherfucker, dog.
Yeah, man, that should be crazy.
They feed on that shit.
Hell yeah. It's like, damn, like I don't understand. It's like everything, like you said, everything is everything, and everything got two sides. So it's like you have these people that's projecting a certain image of character. Always be mindful, take everything with a grain of salt, because these individuals be some fucked up people.
Yeah, take advantage of that. They take advantage of that eagerness to learn, that eagerness to be a part of something too, as well. Because I mean, that's another thing I would say. Like a lot of times, this journey, you're gonna feel like you're alone, and I should have reiterated as far as new people, especially when your family and like friends, like that's probably the hardest thing that isn't discussed enough. That transition from, I guess, being like a normal person, I guess you could say, to just broadening your horizon. I guess you could put this with anything. This goes with anything. I mean, learning anything new, becoming a different person, because you're always reinventing yourself, and people expect you to be the same person. They expect you. They like to put you into a box so they can be easier understood in their world. So I mean, that's something that you have on a basic level. Like they want to put you in a box. Like, yeah, he's just that. Like, so when they see you changing and you fucking this week you're trying to be you're just trying to see what the vegan life is about. This week, you're meditating and shit. It's gonna be some criticisms. It's gonna be a lot of uncomfortability from other people projected onto you, but it's really them being uncomfortable with what the fuck you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
precise.
You're experiencing life. Like you're just not being a part of the monotonous bullshit every day. But to other people, it makes it. They think they just start calling you shit. You crazy. Like what do you think, you're a fucking guru or something? Not a head, grinding your fucking hair out, man. Like, you know, you just gonna have all that type of shit. So you really just gotta know to be on your own, man. Like you're gonna feel lonely and shit sometimes, and it takes a long time to goddamn find others. But there's others out here, man. And the reason that you don't find others out here because it's the same thing. You don't want to just go out here and just start talking that shit, and you know,
Yeah.
people gonna start looking at you wild, or like
You get.
people are gonna see the other people looking at you wild. They're not gonna want, because it's like I said, I found that there's a lot of people out here. They just don't say anything, man. It's other
Yeah.
people just like yourself that are just camouflaged into this world and are on their own path, and they don't want to be exercised and shit for the things that they're looking into. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a long, like I said, it took me a long time. Like I linked up with you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's so far in between that I meet people that are on this. So I'm glad that we do have this group and we have, you know, something that we can build,
Mm.
and bring in people who, you know, may be curious. You know, they might not stay for a while. They might just want to see what it's about, and
Hmm.
you know, that's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's been on this path by themselves. They just been walking, and maybe they're waiting to find something like this. So I mean, like I said, I'm glad that you created this platform, man, for real.
Oh yeah, yeah. Appreciate
Uh,
it. Yeah.
it's because I feel like some of these, this is a lot of these things. Like I said, when you were saying earlier about technology, this is one of the things that technology can be a big use for and very helpful for is bringing these type of like minds together. You never know what we can create. You know,
Yeah.
we already have brought several things from our experience that we've been walking. You don't know what we can share, different point of views. You know,
Hmm.
we are already outside of the average box, so we're like bringing shit from just like very different angles, man. And I don't know how we wouldn't be able to help each other. You know, so I mean,
Yeah.
this is great, man. I
Yeah.
want to be more involved here because I haven't been involved much here. Like I said, I don't really be on Facebook a lot, but I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I would come just to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a great.
That's pretty much me too. I don't really be on Facebook. I just come in here for this and other things, and that's about it. But
Mm.
yeah, man. Like I also wanted to ask you, like, what do you feel like? What role does loneliness play in the spiritual journey? You think that's something that will help people tap into their God self or inner self better? Is
Well, yeah, that's. I feel like it's necessary, man.
mm,
That is what that loneliness and that um how do you say? I guess you could say like the feeling that you don't belong here in the extent that's what kind of derived that experience out of me when I graduated high school. I was like, I don't have anything to look forward to. Like I'm just out of place in the world. I feel like it is necessary because I mean no one else is going to be able to look inside of you.
mm.
You know, I feel like it takes loneliness to really. I mean, it can go both ways. It can go horribly.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, some people just feel lonely and shit. They want out of this fucking human existence right now. Like they don't want to fucking stay here. Like, but I feel like that loneliness and that silence that it brings and that those I don't know those times of just being yourself is very necessary for this experience. And I feel like if you can't be alone, then I don't feel like this is a good experience for you either because I feel like for one you should never feel like you're alone once you really are walking this path because
Hmm.
you will realize that a lot of things, everything is connected, man. I mean, shit, you connected with these fucking trees outside. We can walk around and like,
Hmm.
it's it's very expansive. It's very expansive, but like, yeah, I do think that loneliness plays a factor as well. Especially when you're first starting out, you know, it's a necessary experience because you're gonna look back on it and appreciate that you were able to get past that feeling of loneliness and emptiness, I guess you could say.
Hmm. Word, man. That's pretty deep right there, yo. But yeah, man. Do you like let people know where they can find you? You know what I'm saying? Like any social media, like you know, the usual ones you traffic or whatnot. You could just
Oh,
have that information.
um, well, lately, mostly you can find me on my Twitter, man. Um, I believe my Twitter is high spirit underscore X. I actually didn't really bring up high spirit, which
Yeah, yeah. Let's
I guess
build on that a little bit. You definitely gotta get
I
into
should
that.
plug myself. But the only reason I didn't really want to is because like I haven't really been actively working on it. But essentially, what high spirit is it's an organization. It is accumulation of all my interests on this plane, as well as my spiritual. It's like it's an idea. It's a brand. And to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how expansive I want it to be yet, which is my dilemma at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still something. It's something that's going to be a part of my life as I know it going into the future.
Oh,
So it's always going to be a part of me. So again, if you guys want to keep follow me and keep up to date with that, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at high spirit underscore X. So that's high, just regularly spelled X spirit. Again, underscore X, just regular letter. And also on, you can find me on Instagram, same name, High Spirit underscore X, and also the High Spirit Instagram page, which is just high dot spirit, on Instagram. So those are usually where I'm at as far as social media and whatnot, especially on my main Twitter page. So and you can always go on there, like you see the thoughts that I have. My thoughts are very I wouldn't say they're not polarized at all, but you can see that I have experience from my life.
mm-hmm.
I'm right now. I'm looking into like the economics of the world right now, like the type of systems that we live by, like capitalism and things like that. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of as I go along, I'm learning more. You'll see my thoughts change, but you can go on my Twitter. You can probably see how my brain works. Like I said, there's no picture for how the shit is. I've been the person to come out here and try to drill knowledge into people and
Yeah,
call
we
people
all been
sheeple, shit like
there.
that. I've been
Yeah, we
that's a
all.
phase
Yeah.
a lot of people go through,
Yeah, man.
unfortunately. But like,
Neo-evangelism. That's what that shit is called.
what'd you say?
So that shit is called neo-evangelism.
Oh, for real? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want, I'm telling you, you're gonna look back and be real embarrassed,
Hell
the
yeah.
type of get past that stage, you're gonna be real embarrassed because that shit is. I mean, it's a phase, But
Hmm.
like I said, I've been past all that, so you ain't gotta worry about me. Goddamn, yeah, you gotta be on crystals and you gotta eat like 4 cucumbers a day if you want to live. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't really on that type of shit. Like I still be eating burgers, bro. I had a bacon
Yeah.
here the fucking day.
Same here. I ate one
You know
yesterday.
what I'm saying? Like you really still living this experience. You know what I'm saying? You at the bottom line, you're not a fucking like we are. I feel like we are gods, our own gods,
Mm-hmm.
but we make our experience what it is. And
Yep, just that thought.
we're abiding by the universal law, but we're all here living together, man. So
Hmm.
the things that I've experienced let me know that shit. I'm at the end of the day, we still living a regular life, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
spiritual beings within it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly, bro.
But I say that to say that that's what high spirit is about. It's about being in this life, um, knowing the trials and tribulations that you go through, and still knowing that you're a spiritual being. You're higher than this. The mere fact that you're still continuing is what high spirit is. Like you're still here. The reasons are that like you're continuing in this shit, and there's more. So,
Yeah.
like I said, if you with that, definitely go ahead and give me a follow, man. Like I said, I'll be here on the page. Probably going to be posting my thoughts on here, some
Yeah,
articles that I've written.
definitely,
So
bro. I
yeah, we
encourage
can
it.
go from there, man, for sure.
Word, word. Well, shit, man. That pretty much concludes this interview right here. Good interview, bro. Appreciate you coming through, dog. You know what I'm saying? Sharing
I,
your experiences and
I'm
everything.
glad we're able to finally do it, man. And
Yeah,
shit, man, we probably gonna be doing a lot more in the future, man.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely ain't no one-time thing.
I'm trying to catch up to you, man. You outworking me. You creative everywhere, man. Trying to catch.
Say, don't do that shit. Again, like you said, man, we everything is everything, bro. Like you, me,
Uh,
I'm me, you, man. We got our own little destinies and shit, I guess. So that's just how shit unfold, bro.
so we're gonna keep it pushing, though, man. Keep in contact, God damn it. Like I
Yeah,
said,
word,
hopefully I'll be in contact with a lot of you guys who, people who've tuned in. I'll be out here, man. So
word,
y'all
word.
hit me up. This man. Watch this guy. Coming up.
All right, y'all.
All
Peace and guidance. We out.
right, peace.
All right.